Okay, so by now you've probably taken a look at that last video that I posted. I'm still learning, so some of the camera angles are wrong. I seem to have my back to the camera a lot. So what I'm going to do right off the start of the second video is I'm just going to take you through a quick rundown of what I did in the first one. Show you the sides, top, the middle, how I joined it all together, and then we'll carry on. And hopefully I'll get better at making the videos so I don't block what I'm doing. Okay, so what I've done is I cut out two pieces that were right here. They're 27, so 27 high, 32 long. Okay, I cut two of those out. The side over here was 27 by 18 and a half. I cut two of those out. Okay, that was the structure. Then inside here, inside the structure, I have the same way I did the other cabinet. I cut 2x4 down to 3/4 inch strips here, and as you can see, it's all the way around. Okay, and that's what I used to build that structure. The bottom, I didn't show you the bottom. The bottom again is just 32 by 18 and a half. Same plywood, same MDF. Okay, and then I put a 2-inch base on here, so give it a bit more height. Okay, and then I just centered it, glued it on, as you saw by my last video. Forgot the glue. Glued the two places on, and I screwed it all down from the inside. Okay, so that's the outside. Okay, so that's how we did the outside. So you can see how it's put together. At the bottom, it's all just glued here and glued the MDF glue. The brad nails that I've used to go through here, you can are just there basically as a clamp. The MDF and the glue are doing that, and it's just all glued and brad nailed together. Okay. Of course, you can see the screws down in the bottom there, screwing that base on. Okay. This access panel is not going to be for a coin door. I'm just going to cut a square to fit in there, and that's going to be the access panel to get all to the Pandora's box, the King of Air that I've got that has 516 games. That's going to go in here. That'll all be down there. Okay. The monitor I've got is actually arcade monitors. I'll show that on one of my videos. That'll go on the top. Of course, there'll be two joystick panels on either side. One on this side, one on the other side. That's probably how that'll go from this right into that. And just wanted to bring you up to date because I blocked a lot of my work on the last one. I will try to work from the other side of the table going forward, or video from top down to show you what I'm doing better. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, so this is what we're going to make. We got one made. Wasn't the easiest thing. I had a couple of false starts. So we'll just turn it to the side. Okay. Oh, no light, of course. So we'll get you some light there. And again, it's just built the same way as the box. Ripped down 2x4s, glued and brad nailed. Okay, this comes off. I'm going to leave this so this comes off, so you can access the joystick and the buttons. Okay, so it's that. This is trimmed down on an angle here, so it meshes up to the back of the panel, and that goes on there. This is going to have 3 buttons. One joystick and player 1 on this side, player 2 on the other side. But it will be big enough that if I ever want to change it to a 6 button, I can drill 6 more holes and away we go. Okay, so we'll carry on and make one. And I'll show you how it's done. So I did have a few false starts. This was my first attempt. As you can see, I cut the sides. I edged it so I could put the trim on it. Okay, I got all excited that this was going to work. I even made 4 of them because I need 2 for each side. I just used 2-sided tape to glue the 2 steps together, and I cut them out on the miter saw at the same time. So I had 2 exact for each side, but these ended up being too small. By the time I put the bottom in and put the top in, there wasn't enough room for the joystick. So I decided to go to plan B. Plan B. So this is the front piece. That'll be the keyboard. The joystick goes. This is the bottom. As you can see, I've traced out the edges. I traced it out of the first one there. So these are identical to the other one that I showed you in the last one. So we're going to cut this all out, and I'll show you how to put it together. I am going to use a miter saw, not a skill saw or jigsaw, to cut this out, because I want to make sure that it's straight. You can use a jigsaw, you can use a skill saw, you can use a router if you really want to. So you don't need to have the miter saw to cut the straight. There's lots of ways to do it without the tools, without the big tools. I am going to use my miter saw because straight cuts and me don't get along. So I'll come back when I got this all cut and we'll assemble it. Okay, so it's all edged, so now we'll just lay it out. Pretty simple. I just measured, to get the same gap, I measured the other one that I had to get the same angle for the keyboard. So I measured up from here to here. That's what measured from the bottom to the top. That's what that line is. I did that on both. Now to get the bottom here where I want the keyboard, all I'm going to use is same piece of wood, and I want it just to put it right there, and my mark on the bottom will be where my line is. Okay, so there's all the pieces cut. Front piece, I will have to put my cut in there for the T-molding there. I will do the same here, here, and here for T-molding. Same on this one, here and here for T-molding. And then on the bottom, there'll be T-molding here. So I'll go cut those pieces on the router and we'll continue from there. The next piece should be gluing it all together. Okay. So just like that, and then I'm lined up there, I'm lined up there. I just hold this like this, and I can draw my angle. There's my angle right there. So right along that line is where I put my piece of 2x4 to mount to, and I'll do the same on the other side, and we'll keep going. Okay, so to mark out the front one, I just lined it up with the front. So it's flush right where I want it glued. Draw my line. And that's exactly where I want to put my 2x4 there to glue it in. And I'll brad nail it from this side and the bottom. Okay. When it comes to putting these on the side, I don't really have to draw a line because I'm just going to put it so the 2x4 is flush with the edge, and that'll put that right there. Okay, so I have all of my pieces cut out. Okay, now I'm going to glue them down and build it. Okay, so there we have it. This is the one I built for a test to make sure it worked. This is the one you watched me build, right here. Built the exact same way. And see how close we are. Let's interchange these. I think we're pretty good. 2 keyboards. Okay, so I'll just switch this back because I like to keep the pieces together that I built together. Okay, so we'll take this one out of the picture. We'll bring this one back in. Okay. This is my keyboard pattern. I'm going to put it somewhere right about here-ish. I'll zoom in just a wee bit. I'll probably have to refocus. Okay, so I'm going to use the joystick out here. I'm going to use those 3 buttons right there. That one, that one, that one, and that one. I'm going to put the player 1 button over here. So if I decide to change it or whatever, there's enough room for the 3 more buttons. I can put another coin button, or another, player 2 button, and I can put a coin button up here if I wish. I am going to set it on free play. I'm not going to put a coin button on. So there are our consoles to go on to our cocktail cabinet. 2 of them. Had a little bit of a panic off the start because it was harder to get it going than I expected, because the one I designed was too small. Wouldn't allow for the joystick and all the wires underneath. So there you go. We'll continue on. I'm going to finish these all up. I'm gonna drill the holes, get it all done, so I can get that done. I'm going to sand and finish, and hopefully I will get the monitor put in. I will get the monitor hole cut, and I will have it painted at the end of this video. Okay, so we have my vertical monitor right there. It's actually an arcade monitor. It's not one that I bought. It's actually an arcade monitor. It's not stripped out of a case. It comes like so. So I got to cut that. So I haven't cut it yet. I've lined it out, as you can see right here. The exact center of the board. Out here to out here is 19. Here to here is 11, which is the black border on here. So I am now going to cut that out. I'm going to cut it out with my jigsaw. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or not, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so the hole is cut right here, centered, all measured out. I have done lots of lines on here. I've got the outside line, the inside of the, so when I have this all done and edged, I'm going to glue 2x4s that are cut to 3/4 again in the corner here and here and down here, and just enough to center it. The monitor goes in, will be screwed down here. This is the back side. As you can see, I'll be cutting the 2 inlets out here, here. There's the front. It's amazing what you can do with a nut tray and a cleaner. We use the nut tray to get the nice curve right there. Okay, so I have the top cut. I have to router the edges, I'll do that right away, but I got the grooves cut on the sides, the monitor on both sides. Remember, the hole in the front is going to the back. That's just an access panel, you won't see that, that'll be in the back side. And we'll come over here. This is the player 1 panel. This is the player 1 panel, so it's got your joystick, A, B, and C, player 1, player 2. The other panel is just going to have the joystick and the 3 buttons. I decided to go with player 1, player 2 on this side because I think it'll look neater if I have the 2 black buttons, because this is going to be, I have black and red. I think I have green and blue. I'll get back to you on that, and the player 1 and player 2 are actually black. So that's that. When it comes to the hole here, I think what I'm going to do to this edge is I'm going to run trim around it. It will either work or it means I have to cut a new one. So either way, I'm going to try and trim it. I'll do the same trim that'll be on the same T-molding that's going to be on the side here. I'm going to run it in here. I have the space in there. It won't block the monitor too badly, so it won't block it at all. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick that on the router right now. Okay, here's my first test fit. Keyboard is painted black. I've just faked it on. It's just got 2 screws on the bottom, it's not glued, but I just wanted to see how it was all going to look. Top's on. I was kind of worried about the cutout here, but I think it'll be okay. It is kind of big, but it'll look okay. There's a piece of glass going on top that'll cover over top of that, so that'll help. 22-inch monitor in the middle. As you see by this, I'm going with player 1, player 2 in there, and just the joystick and the 3 buttons on the other side. I have decided to keep this opening. I'm going to use a piano hinge Gonna use a piano hinge, and I'll keep that. Now that the test fit works, I'll get it all put back on. You can see this is 10 inches down, line center, so the other one will go on. And then we'll get this painted. Okay, so I just thought I'd go over what we got in the box here to make this thing into a video game. So the center of the whole thing is going to be the King of Air 2. This has, what does it have on it? 516 games. But by playing with it in my other system, if you hit the menu button here and turn your machine on, you'll turn it. There's 3 different aspect ratios that you get, but the 4th one turns it into DX, just the DX with 3,000 games. So in theory, there's 3,500 games in there. I'm going to try that out in there when I do that to see if it actually works. So that's the King of Air. That's where all the games are going to be. There's 516 vertical. We are going to go with green and blue buttons. We're going to go with black player 1 and player 2 buttons. Of course, because we're going with the King of Air, we need our jamma harness. We have our green and our blue joysticks. Go with the green and blue buttons. This time I'm going to put the green with the green and the blue with the blue. I'm not going to alternate it, green with blue and blue with black. Green with blue and blue with green. We have the amp for the sound. I did get a little better amp this time. So that's the amp, and it'll light up blue power. You've got your volume, your treble, and your bass. And I don't, because the way if you wire it right into the arcade power supply, you get some feedback sometimes. So that's what this is. So I don't have to wire it into the arcade power supply. It's just 12 volts, and it'll go to the power bar that I stick in there to power the TV, the monitor. Okay, and then we have our power cord, which will go to our switch. Pretty simple. Okay, and then this is the power. This is to go from the switch to the power cord, from the power supply to the switch. And then these are the 50-watt speakers that I'm going to be using. One will be just under the joysticks on each side. They'll be out like that. And then last but not least, I have the power supply, the arcade power supply. The only thing with the wiring is pretty simple. The only thing with this right out of the box, which you got to remember to do, is you got to make sure this switch here is flipped over to See, it's on 220 right now. You just got to flip it over to 120, and then you just wire it in, and it's good to go. You've got alternate powers, you've got your grounds, you've got your 12, you got your 12 volt, your 5 volt, and all the wiring is easy. Okay, that's what's going to make this thing tick. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to do a little walk around. I'll try to keep it all in focus. So the keyboard is, as we can see, we're going to have on this side, this is going to be the player 1 side, we're going to have player 1 and player 2 over here. Okay. We have the cutout. We have the cutout. Through the top of the TV you can see there's a cutout at the back, an access panel. On the one side, probably on this side right here, is where I'll put the amp, so you can adjust the speed, the sound. Okay. We go over to this side. We'll see the player 2, and it's just going to have the joystick and 2 buttons. But both sides will be expandable if you want it. All you have to do is drill the 3 holes and put in, I guess you could put in the coin buttons, or you could just wire the player 1, player 2 to the second post and get your pause button there. So it is expandable if I decide to do it. The color, the final color for the cabinet is right there. That is the final color, the top, the lid of course, so that's what the color is going to be, because this is going to be a Donkey Kong cab. We've got some Donkey Kong decals. We are planning to resin cover the keyboard because we did it on the last build and I really liked it, but we only did 1 coat and I don't think that was strong enough, so we're going to two coats of resin on these keyboards. Still makes it expandable. You have to drill, it's fine. I have drilled through the resin before. So that is where I'm going to end video number 2, or part 2. Hopefully by the end of part 3 we are blue deckled and turning it on. Thank you for stopping by. Like the video, subscribe, put any comments or anything you might want me to build maybe, arcade wise, in the comments. Thank you.